Hey everybody, it's Cyclone here, and I just wanted to make this video about Borderlands 3 and really my lack of desire to play it and why that is. I'm going to start off by saying it's probably related to burnout at this point, but in my opinion, this burnout could be avoided. I played Borderlands 1 and 2 religiously. I was a huge fan of those games up to a point. At a certain point, you played so much of it, you got tired of it. But in those games, it took me years to get to that point. Fast forward today, and we have Borderlands 3, which, for all intent and purposes, when you review the game and how it was designed, there was a high emphasis on making it streamer appealing. So they were trying to make the game accessible for streaming so that loot drops could fill the screen and big exciting explosions of loot. And that sounds awesome at first. The problem is the novelty of farming legendaries became almost non-existent after a quick period. Everyone had tried all the legendaries, and we now have nothing new to really try except for DLC locked guns. This is unfortunate because it's kind of the lazy way to add new exciting loot into a game without really making the loot pool interesting and diverse. Now, the anointment system is also really in shambles right now. There should be so many more useful anointments and gameplay altering anointments than just simple damage after action skill and other crap like that. Then you have the useless ones like sliding and handling. Like, who wants this stuff? Nobody plays with these anointments. These are trash. These are literally like rolling, bankrupt on Wheel of Fortune. Like, you have all these great things and you hit the bankrupt. That's, a weapon handling anointment, right? So the novelty, the excitement of loot hunting becomes very tiring after you've played enough of the game. There's nothing I really want to find anymore. Like, I have a couple of these really rare guns from the Terror event, and I can't get those until they re-release any Terror event. But that also brings me to my other point about why I am not playing, and I think there's a fair amount of people who have stopped playing this game right now, and that's because there is no settling at all. The game is constantly being tinkered and messed with, and things are being rebalanced and reshuffled. It is literally a chaotic mayhem game. Literally, it's like you're throwing darts at a wall and just hoping that a dart sticks to it. And this mentality drives me bonkers because Borderlands has always been about the progression and the journey of finding cool things. And when updates happen, they had impact, they had real meaning. These updates have not felt that way. These hotfix based updates, you gave us a raid boss, great, but then like just right after that, you increased the level cap. So all of my runs before the level cap were useless. And that's why I feel like none of these updates really matter in the long run. We're getting these like hot fixes and ooh, shiny new toys. Come play the DLC. It's not what it used to be. And instead of getting really fleshed out, updated content, we are getting hot fixes out the ass, which just mess with balance and mess with the meta far too frequently. I would like something to aim for, to settle for. I know what the loot hunt looks like. In this game, it's so chaotic. And it's becoming very repetitive. Every time a DLC comes out, those are the guns you want. Oh, okay, great. That new class mod has broken the character. Now it's the only one you want to use. I mean, and they've been breaking certain things about the loot drops, I hear. I stopped playing before that feedback happened. But, it's clear that the lockdown has affected their company, like a lot of companies. But the fact of the matter remains, they've done way too much tinkering and micromanagement of their game. They should have just settled on an idea. Like, instead of having these hotfixes and these limited time events, we should have had 2 raid boss level DLCs by now that were very significant. and each one should have raised the level cap by 5 to 10. These little mini level cap raises have really annoyed me because they're happening too frequently. And then you're introducing this mayhem mode, which is such a waste of time because guess what, folks? The level cap will go up again. This is not the final time that difficulty will scale. It's going to get harder in some way, or they're going to introduce a new layer of progression to aim for. I'm calling it. They added 2 new levels to Borderlands 2 a decade later. Not a decade, but long enough, like 6 years later. It's like, folks, do we see the trend here? Borderlands 3 is trying to keep your attention with the shiny new toy. It's trying to promote streaming, which on the surface is cool. But when you're a veteran player, you've seen this dance a million times. You need something to aim for in these types of games. And the balance and constant like ADD tinkering. This game is like ADD. It's absurd. Like, oh, we're gonna change this, change that, change this, change that. We're gonna, oh, look at this, look at that. Whoa, let's calm down here and let's settle on something that we can enjoy for like 3 to 4 months. Like, we literally get like content every 2 weeks. It's mind numbing. It's like, whoa, calm down there. And it's not content that's great and constructive. I'd rather less updates, but that are more significant. You understand? And that are more tested and patched out before they're released. Bugs and errors and balance changes and things not working, they're being released like this. These hotfixes are messing around with how we play the game all the time. It's literally like a party game at this point. Oh, you throw it in and see what happens. They need to modernize certain elements that they just aren't doing. For example, raising the level cap of an item to max level, like with enough currency, or transitioning an anointment from one piece of gear to another. These are not revolutionary ideas, and they should absolutely exist in this game. It's absurd that they don't. Absurd. There's a lot I wish this game had, but I am putting it down for now, guys. Now, Morning After Kill, he was a prolific Borderlands 2 content creator. He stopped playing. He's done. He's absolutely done. I'm going to wait and see what the future holds, but I personally have nothing to aim for when the game is being thrown around in a blender and constantly being changed with these random-ass pointless balance changes and gun fixes, the quote-unquote fixes, and, DLC that shoves new gear in your face that you have to use to feel powerful. It's like this is the Diablo 3 way, man. I'm not feeling it, and I don't like to use Diablo 3 as a reference point. I hate Diablo 3. Diablo 3 was the laziest way to make a meta happen. Oh, we're gonna introduce an update, and you're gonna have to play this way now. It's really lazy development, guys. That's really lazy. If you're gonna introduce easy to find legendaries that aren't good, why did you introduce so many in the first place? Shiny, shiny, shiny. See, it was all about streaming, guys. These legendaries, 9 out of 10 are trash. And, you get 1 out of 10 that are really good, but then on top of that, you need anointments for them. You see where the problem is? And again, all the games have had bad legendaries. But this game has so much legendary access. You're finding legendaries all the fucking time. I would rather find them less or have a much smaller pool, but much better gear. And then a way to add anointments to the gear or upgrade the weapon over time. These are mechanics that should have been in this game, and they're just not. And these are modern RPG style things that you find in games like, I think The Division had something like this. I mean, this is not revolutionary stuff, but I feel like Gearbox has just hard-coded this game to be how it is, and they've always done it this way, and it's not a very flexible product, which is why the hotfixes annoy me, because it's like they keep trying to change something that shouldn't have been broken in the first place. Why are all these hotfixes necessary? It's because, guys, they're kind of throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.